Hello and welcome to my studio. My name is Sarah and this is my painting journey. Today I wanted to bring you the beginnings of a new painting, a very new one that I am starting out in the hopes that I can enter it in the California Art Club Spring Show that's coming up. I did say that I was going to bring you guys along for the journey of this little painting, so let's get started. And what I am working on is a 16 by 20 stretch canvas panel, and I'm starting with a pencil sketch directly on the canvas. The reason for that is because I am painting wildlife in this one, and wildlife more than landscape requires precision. It requires good proportions, it requires good anatomy. If something is off in the anatomy of the creature you're trying to portray, the entire painting will be off. So getting a solid pencil drawing down on the canvas first helps make sure that my overlaying layers of paint will still reflect the good anatomy and proportions here. So this little subject is a deer fawn. The photo that I'm using is one that I took while I was up camping. It's actually the best photo I've ever taken. I still can't believe I managed to take it. If you want to see it, head over to my Patreon. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit more about why drawing skills are so important, particularly when you're trying to portray wildlife, and this also applies to portraying the human figure as well. If your anatomy is off, the entire painting will be off. That is because our mind is trained to see things as they are. And when something is slightly off, you get into what's called the uncanny valley, where it's almost a little bit disturbing to look at. So when I am formulating a wildlife painting, the drawing is the most important part. I place anatomy and proportion higher in importance than composition, value, color, any of those things. You can have the most perfect composition in the world, but if that wolf's face is off, it's just not going to look right. It's never going to look right. And this is something that even professional artists can struggle with sometimes. Go take a look at any old copy of Wildlife Art magazine. You will see some paintings that are technically very good, but there's just something off in the proportion. It makes something not feel right. So having these good, solid drawing skills will help prevent that. You need to study your subject, especially when you're painting wildlife. You need to understand the underlying anatomy beneath the fur. You need to understand behavior. You need to understand how it interacts with its habitat surrounding it. These things are all essential, and what will result from this is a much stronger painting. So now that I've drawn in the deer, I'm working on adding a few elements to the background as well. I'll just draw these in very lightly, very loosely, just to have something on the canvas to guide me as I start painting. So the drawing is nearly complete here. I'm getting ready to add in, to start the base layers of color, I'm going to tone this canvas with red iron oxide instead of burnt umber or burnt sienna. I'm going with that because this painting is going to be very, very green. There's a lot of green. It's a springtime painting. And I want to offset that and have that first underlying layer be a contrasting color for that. So, hone those drawing skills. Get yourself a sketchbook and fill it. Get in there, draw, focus on anatomy and proportion. Get yourself anatomy books. Do whatever you've got to do to make sure that your anatomy and proportion in your wildlife paintings is perfectly correct. Otherwise, something will not look right. Again, you can have the most perfect composition, but if something is wrong in the anatomy you're portraying, whether it's human or animal, your painting is going to look off. So, thank you so much for joining me today on this little video here. I do hope you've enjoyed it, talking about my process a little bit. If you have, please hit the like or subscribe button down below. Leave a comment if you would like. Feel free to ask any questions. If there are any, I will answer them in my weekly vlog. And check out my socials down below if you want to see some progress on this painting. Hit those up. Bye-bye.